talk to us about anything they want. Drugs, what's going on at home. I mean, you'd be surprised. Kids want to talk. So I'm happy to be here.
So officially, Augusta Fells Savage Institute of Visual Arts would like to welcome City Council President Jack Young. Yes, I'd like to maybe start off by talking about where you grew up, where you went to college, a little bit about your educational background.
Okay. Well, I grew up in East Baltimore, down near Johns Hopkins, about 3 blocks from Johns Hopkins, in the 1600 block of East Igor Street. I'm the middle child of 10 children, born to Sandy and Adame Young. They were my parents. I went to Samuel Chase Elementary School, which is at the corner of McDonald and Chase Street. And from there, I went to Lombard Junior High School. From Lombard, I went to Dunbar. I did 2 years at Dunbar. And then I did things that young men normally do. I started hanging with the wrong crowd. So I recognized that earlier that I didn't want to be a follower. I wanted to be a leader. So I went to my mom and told her I wanted to transfer. And I finished my last year at Northern Senior High School. I did a stint at Community College of Baltimore and found out that that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I wanted to work, because coming from a family of 10, I wanted things, and and that was a mistake. Please don't. And after I left Community College of Baltimore, I went to Morgan for about a month and said, no, I don't want to do that. Left Morgan, started just talking about the educational piece right now. Went to Sojourner, where I'm enrolled, but I haven't been to no classes yet. Being president of City Council is kind of tough. I'm in the process of doing online classes so that I get my degree. One thing I've always said to students wherever I went, I'm lucky to be where, I ain't gonna say lucky, I'm blessed to be where I am, because during the time that I was matriculating through life, it was more easier. 12th grade education was all you really needed to get good jobs. But now you're competing against a global world where you have people from other countries coming here, going to college, getting scholarships, getting the jobs that you should get. I try to tell kids, really, don't stop at high school. Continue, go to college. Even if you don't know what you want to do in college, go and take general courses. You can go to a community college, but make sure that that community college that the community college that you go to, that there's a college that would accept all of their credits. My daughter she said she didn't know what she wanted to do. I said, well, you're going to school. You had no choice. And she went to Community College of Baltimore, where she got an AA degree, and she went to Morgan and finished her degree at Morgan, top 5 of her class. She left Morgan, went to the University of Maryland, got her master's in social work. My youngest daughter, she knew what she wanted to do, so she went straight to Morgan, and she has her degree in education. She wants to teach, and she's teaching right now at a Head Start. She likes kids, and she has 2 bachelors, one in early childhood education and one in family life services. And now she's going to, she applied to Notre Dame to get her master's. And my kids didn't even know that I didn't finish college until when they graduated. They said, well, Dad, what college are your alma mater of? I said, School of Hard Knocks. But I made sure that my kids did way better than I did. And my kids were, because all my sisters and brothers went to college, but they didn't finish. So my kids broke the generational curse of us not finishing college. My 2 daughters, my niece, my nephew, they're all college grads, and we're very proud of them. So I always encourage kids, go to school, go to college, do your best, and hey, reach for heaven. If you grab a star and look down, look how far you've come. And I can tell you that dreams do come true. I never thought in my wildest dream that a kid from East Baltimore, well, we oftentimes, like most of you here, that you're not going to amount to anything, and that your environment dictate who you are. Your environment does not dictate who you are. You do. You make the choice to be whoever you want to be. And as I look around this room, I see nothing but greatness. I see nothing but academic success, because I know all of you can achieve any goal that you choose. because I oftentimes tell kids, well, students, I hate to say kids because some students get upset with the kids stuff. But anyway, I oftentimes tell them, if you know every song that every singer sings, every ooh, every R, you know all that stuff. Am I right? Am I correct, y'all? Y'all can talk to me.
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
All right. So if you use that same energy for your schoolwork, think of the grades you can get. And you can win scholarships on your academics where your parents wouldn't have to spend a dime. And all that FAFSA money and money from your senators and your delegates, that's free money for you. You can use that for whatever you want to do. You know, you can buy your car, you can buy clothes, you can do all those kind of things. So that's a little bit about who I am. I care about kids. If you read about me, or if you look at anything that I've done since I've been in that council, it's been my youth and my seniors. Because your success is my success. If you're not successful, then I have nothing to look forward to. Because y'all are the leaders. People say of tomorrow, no, you're the leaders today, because if we don't take care of you today, there will be no leaders for tomorrow. So we have to do our job to take care of you so that you can take care of us. And that's how it is. Each generation take care of the next generation. So I'm open for questions.
Excellent. I have two more questions to ask, and then we're going to open it up to a couple students will come up for a few questions. There are several issues in Baltimore City, obviously, that need to be addressed. One of which is very popular that we found in research is the property tax rate, the real property tax rate in Baltimore City, as we do have a chart here. We've looked at the surrounding counties, which average about 1%. But in Baltimore City, our tax rate is approximately 2.2%. The property tax rate in Baltimore City is twice as high as it is in any surrounding county. We've talked with other individuals about the average is approximately 200 people have left Baltimore week after week, every week for 50 years straight. That is the population decline of Baltimore. Some people point and say it's the property tax rate. If I just paid less taxes for my house, I would stay in Baltimore. So my question to you, my question from the class here at Augusta Fells Savage is...
Y'all asking this question?
Indeed.
Or was it his question?
Oh, yeah,
I'm just joking.
No, we found this information at the Maryland State Department of Taxation. We have a friend, Ed Wykowski, who works for the Compliance Division. He'll come up later in one of the student questions. But what are some ways that we could address that property tax situation, or do you think that that's non-relevant to population increase or decrease?
Well, last night we passed a bill that the mayor put in to cut the property tax rate by 2 cents. It's symbolic. It's not really much. If your house is worth $200,000, it's like $40, which is really not that much. But we are listening to the citizens. They want the property tax lowered. But with lowering the property tax comes with us having to look at cutting services. Because unlike other counties, Baltimore City rely heavily on our property tax to fund the police department, the school system, because we do have to pay our maintenance of efforts, the fire department, all those kind of things. In the surrounding counties, most of them have volunteer fire companies. And when people look at our tax rate, they say we have the highest, and it's because of those kind of factors. And also, when you look at the surrounding counties, what they really don't tell you is, through their water bill, they might tell you they pay a lower water bill, but they don't. The counties in their tax bill have their sewage and their other parts of their water bill hidden inside of their tax bill. So when you balance things out, it might seem that Baltimore City's property tax rate is a little higher, but if you look at all the other things that they have to pay for, they have to pay for trash removal. If they have bulk stuff that need to be picked up, they have to pay for those services. In Baltimore City, we don't. We don't have to pay for those services. When I first came into office in 1996, I made a a promise that I would work towards reducing our property tax so that we can get more people to not only live in Baltimore City, but those who are here, to keep them here. And there's a number of factors why people say they leave the city of Baltimore. And sometimes they don't even point to the property tax. They point to the schools. They point to our schools. Because they feel that if I'm going to send my kids to a school, and they feel that the school system is failing, they move. Once their kids get school age, they're out of here. And even some of our teachers really don't send their kids to, if you want to know the truth, to public schools. They send theirs to parochial and private schools. You know, I mean, not all teachers, but most of them do. Even some of the principals send their kids to other schools. You know, so that's why I try to stress real hard to our students. Make sure that you do your best, and make sure you prove all of them wrong. Because right now we're fighting, instead of building new schools, and that's why this casino thing is very important. You know, I don't believe in gambling, but most of that money, 90% is going to new school construction. And no, 90% is going to property tax, and the other 10% is going to new school construction. I put in a bill that was passed by the citizens of Baltimore called a non-lapsing fund, where money from the taxes will go into that fund to build schools for us. Because it's awfully sad to come into some of these schools and see some of the conditions. I'm glad we're in a school where they have air conditioning, because most of the ones I go to don't have air conditioning. And those kids in the summer have to be sent home because you can't learn when you're sitting in a classroom and it's uncomfortable and hot. So I really apologize to all of our students for the conditions of some of our schools. But oftentimes I tell those folks who are ready to throw up their hands because they say our schools are failing schools, I point to students who are doing well, students who have graduated, students who have gone on to college and have made a mark not only in government but in the private industry as well. Baltimore schools are good schools. You know, I mean, are some of them better than others? Yes, they are. But my dream is to make all of the schools in Baltimore City good schools and excellent schools. And we have some good teachers, some excellent teachers that chose to teach because they could go anywhere else and make way more money. But because they want to see you guys succeed, that's the truth. Because they want to see you succeed, they choose to teach. I asked my daughter one day, I said, why did you choose teaching? I want you to make lots of money so that you can survive in this world. She said, Daddy, I want to give back to the system that gave to me. And that's a powerful statement. She wanted to give back to the system that gave back to her. But getting back to the property tax thing, we run our government based on our property taxes. Other jurisdictions really don't do that because they have other means and they have more disposable income, because some of these folk have big jobs, nice money, and they can move where they want to move, and they have left Baltimore. But at one time, Baltimore took care of the whole state. The whole state, and our property tax wasn't as high as it was, because we had the people. If you have more people, then we can get away from running our city off of property tax and run it off like our piggyback tax, because it goes by how many people who live in the city and work in the city, that money stays here. But when you work in the city and you don't live here, that money goes back to where you live. Now, if half our police department and half our fire department live in Baltimore City, we could cut our property tax in half tomorrow. That money goes back to where they live. They don't stay here in Baltimore. So when you all get your college degrees and you find your jobs, don't abandon Baltimore. Come back and help make Baltimore great.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's a sentiment that we've reiterated time and time again in this room, and that is, maybe every teacher wasn't the best teacher that you've ever had. So I would say, whichever teacher you thought was your least favorite, I would challenge you to go get your degree in education and come back and please replace that teacher, so that you can then be the teacher that you needed that year.
Yeah, but Ms. Keller, I want them to know that we have some very dedicated teachers, some real good teachers, but sometimes because of the attitudes that we come to school with, and playing in class and distracting others from learning, I mean, the teacher have to spend more time disciplined than teaching. And then another thing that really gets me is they spend more time testing you all because of this No Child Left Behind than teaching you. So it's not your fault that you're not getting what you really should get. And I don't like that, because when I was going to school, they taught us, arithmetic. They taught us spelling and American history and all that other stuff. Now everything is geared towards testing you. And I've been fussing about it. I asked Dr. Alonzo, when we gonna get away from testing our kids and teaching our kids? So our kids could have the same chance of getting a job and getting into colleges as all of these kids from around the world that comes here and get your spots in colleges. The Chinese, believe it or not, teach their kids calculus at a very early age. I think 5 or 6 years old. They're learning calculus. Y'all have calculus yet?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, the Chinese are so far advanced, and we're the leaders in the world. The United States of America is the leading country in the world, and our international children are far more advanced than most of us are. That's because they value their education system. I believe that we, as the state of Maryland, the city of Baltimore, need to put our money into educating our kids. Y'all should be able to go on field trips and not have to worry about anything. When I was in school, field trips were free. If we paid anything, it was maybe about $5 or $10, but everything was free. We went places, we saw things. We saw things other than our immediate community. We saw things outside of the city. We got exposed to how other people live. We had trips, even in recreation and parks. Everything was free. Every amusement park we went to was free. We went to the Naval Academy to look at what they do at the Naval Academy. And some kids got interested in the Navy. Some of them went to the Navy, for the service. And some of them got into the Naval Academy. Those who had, the altitude and the brains to get in there, got in there. We saw so much. But now because of budget cuts and the economy, the first thing that they cut are things that benefit our youth and our seniors. First thing that they cut, the school system budget cut, recreation and parks cut, senior programs cut. Anything dealing with our young people is cut. And guess what, young people? You all have a voice. Whether you vote or not, you have a voice. Organize around the city. Safe and Sound is a program where young people organize and they come to City Hall. They go to Annapolis. They go to Washington, D.C. to fight for things that youth want. We don't want them building jails for you. We want them building schools and colleges. They're talking about building a jail 5 blocks from our home. The detention, what they call juvenile detention center.
That actually phases directly into
that's
where we're going.
right down the street from my house. And before anyone got on that issue, I was on it. Because I was a little upset that they was building it without telling me. And they tried to tell me in the meeting, oh, we talked to you about that. I said, no, you talked about tearing down the old VGD building for parking. You didn't tell me you was going to build a prison there. So I held it up because I wouldn't put legislation in so that they can move forward. But the state can do what they want, but sometimes they have to have our authorization to do certain things through the zoning code. And I held it up. Then everybody else jumped out there and said, hey, we don't want no prison here. Now, Safe and Sound Hathaway Ferry will tell you, before anybody jumped on that issue, I jumped on it. Because it was 5 blocks from my home. We don't want no more jails. We have enough. Our kids come out of their houses, they live in the Latrobe, all they have to face is jails. So you know what most of them think? That's my destiny. No, it's not your destiny. Look around the jail and look to downtown, look at those big tall buildings and say, I'm going to be an executive in one of those buildings. Or I'm going to be the mayor one day, or I'm going to be the governor, I'm going to be the council president, I'm going to be a council person. I'm going to own my own company. Don't look at the surroundings where you live. Look at the possibility of where you can go beyond that. And don't let government dictate where you're going. But they're building jails for you, not colleges and not schools.
All right, just to sum up one last thing before we transition. City Councilman Nick Mosby was our guest a few weeks ago. He had brought up an interest in expanding our school system in one area. And you were talking about that our students in our community needs to become a little more invested in our own community. Go to college, make sure you come back to Baltimore. You're talking a little bit about field trips. We have conceptually an idea of a Baltimore history, social studies course, where we literally would break it down neighborhood to neighborhood so you would understand, and you can see the map behind of Baltimore, take a look at different neighborhoods, taking field trips from Harlem Park, which is one of the most historic neighborhoods where every single block within itself had a park. It was an agrarian, it was eco-friendly before eco-friendly was a word. But we could take kids down to Canton Industrial area so they could actually walk on the port. We went down and we saw the USS Comfort a few weeks ago. We took a trip down there. I think we'd be interested in creating a curriculum where students would understand what these neighborhoods truly mean to the residents. I think if every Baltimore City student understood their community, their whole community, because then Baltimore, I know that Marquise lives very close to where I grew up in Brooklyn. I know that you grew up very close to Chimay, apparently, because she gave a little shout out there.
Where you from?
I used to live on the East Baltimore, like near Edgar, Middle Street. And all
Okay,
that.
yeah. That's a whole, that whole community is being transformed. You won't even know when you.
And I used to live down Metro Project.
Yeah.
So, see, we find commonality with each other. I know you and I have been to a few events at the same place. We are all a family in Baltimore. Every single person, and we'll let you move here.
Right.
But the people that are born, but the people that are born here and are from here, we do share something.
Absolutely.
We share something, and part of that I have, and I know Councilman President Young has, and that's a deep and real respect and pride to be Baltimore.
I'm never ashamed wherever I go to say I'm from Baltimore. And let me tell you this. Anybody from Howard County, Harford County, any of those counties, when they go outside of Baltimore, the state of Maryland, do you know where they say when people ask them where they're from, do you know where they say they're from? Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Baltimore. They don't say I'm from Harford County. They don't say I'm from Cecil County or any. They say I'm from Baltimore. That says something. They don't say Baltimore County. They say Baltimore. Everybody identifies with Baltimore. And you know why? We have all the cultural stuff right here in Baltimore City. Like I told you, one time we had 1 million people that live here in this city. And guess what? The counties can only grow. Let me tell you about these counties. Anne Arundel County, I think it's Anne Arundel, Baltimore, Harford, and part of Howard County can only grow if we let them grow. Because we have the management of the water system. And we have to go and dig pipes, make sure our water get out there to them. There's an agreement that was made a while back where Baltimore have control of the water. We control the water. So when there's a water main break in the county, that's why you see Baltimore City trucks up in Towson, because we're responsible for repairing that. We're responsible for repairing water main breaks over in Essex. We have land that we own in Essex, where the wastewater treatment plant is going past East Point Mall. We own that. We own golf courses in Baltimore County. We own parks. Robert Lee Park belongs to the city of Baltimore. We have an agreement where we let Baltimore County use it for its citizens. Our citizens use it as well. Baltimore City owns property all over this state. You know, in the county of White Marsh, we own property where Bartonfelter, who ran for Baltimore County, farms. That's our land. And it was a campaign issue when he was running for Baltimore County, because they found out he was only paying, I think, $100-something a month, and he's producing all these crops. So they upped his rent. Some sweetheart deal that was made. He's a good guy, and he has his produce down at the underneath the bridge where they come from farmers market. He has some of the best produce you ever want to see. And if you ever go down there and you like corn, just buy some of his corn. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something about this corn. You can peel it and eat it, and it's really sweet. I like it cooked, but some people eat corn like that. I'm telling you, and it's real sweet. That's good.
So to sort of surmise that, if we can ask you a direct question,
Absolutely.
as a class and as a school, would you support the formation, maybe with legislation or a grant or in some form, to assist a few teachers in the district of Baltimore City in creating a Baltimore history course?
I'll be interested in talking with the school system to do that. In terms of grants, we don't have grants to give, but I know that the school system have grant writers, and I think any and every opportunity that we can expose our kids to their city where they live, I think we should be in support of doing that. And yes, I will be interested in helping with that. Absolutely. Because some people, some of our students really don't even know Baltimore. Some of y'all don't even know Baltimore, and I know it. Because some of you probably have never been to, if you don't live there, Northwest Baltimore to see all the things in Northwest. Some probably never been to East. Some probably never been to Southeast or Southwest Baltimore. Baltimore City have a lot of history. We have a lot of history here in Baltimore. And most people don't know, if it wasn't for Baltimore, there would not be the United States of America.
Who saw the advisory? Who saw the advisory?
There would not be a United States of America. We in Baltimore defended Fort McHenry, turned back the British, and that's why we became the great country we are today, because of Baltimore, Maryland. And we're getting ready to celebrate our 200th birthday. And I don't know why we, we should be marking this thing really big time, and our schools should be involved. With entrepreneurship, selling T-shirts and something, the Star Spangled Banner State or something, a city. I mean, we should be having mugs and cups and talking to the governor and the mayor about how we can be, as school, as students, how we can be a part of this celebration. And you guys need to email and write, and the government, how can we become a part of this? Because they're running that.
Yep. Right on Route 40. The road that's right out in front of you. When you take it all the way over on the east side, there's a monument down there. That's actually where the troops turn around.
With the,
yeah. That's right there where the British troops stopped, and they turned around because they found out they weren't able to take Fort McHenry. They turned around and left.
It was like, oh.
So they will get their butts kicked.
That's right. Because nobody comes into Baltimore and takes Baltimore.
Nobody's taking Baltimore.
All right, well, we're going to take a 1 second break here, and then we're going to have two students come up and ask a few questions.
Okay, fine.